Hacking this shit, stealing that info, 1% tint on my window, inside the coupe, blowing on endo, got cheap prices on real good outdoor. I was in the studio, I should get out more, I was in the truck, I should get out more. These niggas took me just like Elmo, feeling like the Rock, serving people elbows, dark wheel money, free like a free throw, she the pop perk, now she in keep mode, grand cool beam, put this shit in sports mode, understand bad, 30 different zip codes, little ass nigga can't handle these bit lows, I ain't talking deal when I'm speaking on Frisco, futuristic, I caught this shit Gilmore, bought it from a German, I get it in crypto, hacking this shit, looking out the window, burn on shirt. West Coast bimbo, I was broke a hill, I was in limbo, I just want to slice no bread like Kimbo. I'm part big rig at my house, then call the gang, hell empty it out. Now down bad, nobody held down. Labels off crumbs, so a nigga held out. If I go behind the walls, I'ma get bailed out. If you ain't tryna call, we come same bout. Every time the gang come, shit sell out. Turn your music down when you pull in my yard. I'll put your nigga ass out on guard. Most of these niggas out here be fraud. Drive past the flash, so jumping like grass. I'll pull up in the range of a large, this curve. My third laptops in the basement hacking. VPN on it so the boys can't track it. Turning my son by the laptop to practice. Breaking them codes, my young nerds crackle. Shooting at Sap, can't wait these bill. Goddamn shoes just broken up scale. But baby mama just pulled up to the jail. She gon' make sure a nigga making it bail. I just made 50K from a gateway on cyberspace from an encrypted site. Damn, I'm loving the internet life. Clean finny while I couldn't take my swipe. Swipe that root quick the other night. Then 2 hours later, swipe for a flight. Hacking this shit, stealing that info. 1% tint on my window, inside the coupe, blowing on endo. Got cheap prices on real good outdoor. I was in the studio, I should get out more. I was in the truck, I should get out more. These niggas took me just like Elmo, feeling like the Rock, serving people elbows, dark wheel money, free like a free throw. She the pop perk, now she in keep mode. Grand cool beam, put this shit in sports mode. Understand bad, 30 different zip codes. Little ass nigga can't handle these bit lows. I ain't talking deal when I'm speaking on Frisco, futuristic. I caught this shit Gilmore, bought it from a German. I get it in crypto, hacking this shit, looking out the window, burn on shirt. West Coast bimbo, I was broke a hill, I was in limbo. I just want to slice no bread like Kimbo. I'm part big rig at my house, then call the gang, hell empty it out. Now down bad, nobody held down. Labels off crumbs, so a nigga held out.
Warning. The following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Make sure you guys come on in, hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. You're not gonna waste no time. We're just gonna jump straight into it. Who we got so far? Kelvin, what's going on? Shout out to Jonathan. Shout out to everybody that's part of the MGM. Kelvin, Jonathan, Great Polo. I see Pippi. What's going on? How's everybody doing? All right, we're gonna cook up real quick. I'm not gonna wait around and all that stuff. People just watch the replay. All right, now this is something that we allude to time and time again, but we're gonna spend a few minutes just focusing on this topic this morning. I'm not gonna make it long and drawn out. So someone sent me something Saturday that another content creator was reviewing, and I thought it was very interesting. And then I seen another review on it this morning. All right. So it kind of correlates to what I always talk about as far as entrepreneurship and, the box truck industry, being a box truck owner operator, cargo van owner operator, running your own business, right? I always talk about when people make more money, they spend more money, right? A lot of box truck business owners are broke. They have a broke box truck business and they're broke and personally due to, the choices that they make. I was watching Midwest put a video out yesterday. He was talking about how he's noticing that, the box truck that he's seeing, all have roof damage. People ain't getting the roofs fixed when they hit low viaducts or low bridges, right? And he said that people just like the hell with it. I think honestly they can't afford it because they box truck business is broke. You make the mistake, you have a hole in the top of your box truck. I think most people not getting it fixed because they can't afford it. I know what it's like to have a roof peeled back like a sardine can because I had a driver peel one of my roofs back like a sardine can. And I remember when it happened to me, it only happened to me one time, and it was back in the earlier part of my career, and it cost 15 grand. All right. I don't know what it would cost today, but over a decade ago it was about 15,000. That's what I was quoted, 15 grand, right? So how many box truck owners do you know or that you can think of based on what we see on a week to week, or let's say a bi-weekly basis now, since we don't do the call-in show weekly anymore because my brain can't handle it, you know what I'm saying? But this is call-in show week. We probably gonna cook it up tomorrow because I got some plans this evening. So we probably cook it up tomorrow, Wednesday. More likely we'll probably do it tomorrow. So if you want to be on the call-in show tomorrow, probably be the day. Make sure you keep your notifications on for that, because we probably only gonna take 2 or 3 calls. But most box truck business owners and just business owners in general, when situations arise, they just don't have the working capital to be able to fix some of these things. And this is all businesses. I know a guy who ran a brick and mortar store, right? He bought the building and he had some roof issues. The roof kept leaking. He couldn't afford to spend the $10,000 to get the roof fixed. We can talk about what was sitting out front, though. What was sitting out front, you would think the individual would have the money to get his roof fixed. So we're gonna talk about it. What I want to do is I want to review and just look at these videos, and it's about nurses. My homie sent me this video the other day, and there was a content creator this morning cooking up about this, and I just want to kind of correlate an employee that makes over 100 grand a year with a box truck owner, because the issues are the same. The issues are the same. The reason why a lot of people are broke is because of lifestyle choices. All right. When you become a business owner, it doesn't mean ball out. And I think a lot of people think business equates to immediately balling out, and it doesn't. You're probably going to be broker as a business owner, as a new business owner, than you would be as an employee making a 6-figure salary, especially at the beginning. All right. Now I want to review some parts of this and kind of correlate it, because we talked about some of this stuff before, but let's just cook up real quick because I'm not going to be here that long. All right. Now it's very pleasing on the eye. Very pleasing on the eye. All right.
You see nurses flying first class to Dubai. You see nurses buying 5 Chanel bags. And honestly, really think about it. Your friend Andrew's mom is a nurse. You don't see her flying first class to Dubai.
What y'all think she is? Y'all think she definitely ain't like black? She got something in her. She like Haitian or something? Or she African? She pleasing on the eye. Pleasing.
Right? Exactly. There's a reason for that. I saw this video a little while ago and I thought it was perfect. Not every single nurse is broke, but there is a common misconception that nurses are rich or making a whole lot of money because of the things you see on social media. Nurses that you see buying.
You said she a 7? I give her like an 8. I mean, just what we see, I give her about an 8.4.
These extravagant things or living these extravagant lifestyles. A lot of them are either travel nurses or nurses who do not have kids and a mortgage and those sort of responsibilities a majority of the time. Now
I know this is about nurses, but we're going to correlate this to, just entrepreneurship too. Now, it's one thing that she said, and here's where I think a lot of people get in trouble at, especially today. All right. Whether they're, working a 9 to 5 or a corporate career, a career in healthcare, like a nurse who's making 100,000, let's say an RN or an APN, right? RN, registered nurse, or let's say an APN, a nurse practitioner, or a travel nurse, which, even makes more money because they travel and they get paid for that. Social media, I think, is ruining a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, right? Like she said, you see certain things online. You see in that field, new nurses see nurse influencers perpetuating this lifestyle. Only if they knew. Same thing here. You see box truck content creators. I don't even call them content creators. I call them influencers because they're influencing people, right? They create content to give you the illusion that, if you go out and rent a box truck, somebody sent me one the other day. I guess it's a new guy on the scene. He's kind of emulating another box truck influencer's blueprint, 5 steps. Let me show you 5 steps on how to create a box truck business so that you can make 6 figures. And I know that's cap. I know it's cap, but the way they market it, to unsuspecting people who are naive and don't know any better because they don't do due diligence, or they don't do research. They go on social media and they see these marketing ploys and these different tactics that these people use, and they automatically buy into shit, right? And then they buy into it, and then when they immediately get in, they start to ball out. All right. Now, she said something right there. She said these people, these travel nurses, they don't have mortgages. They don't have kids. They don't have basically what she's saying is responsibilities as some other people. Right now, I want people to really understand this because I think this is a major reason why so many people are failing in the box truck industry. And I know a lot of other people don't talk about things like this. And, I know, shots get thrown at me because majority of my content, if you watch my content, I talk about box trucking, but primarily my whole thing is business, right? I'm showing people how to be a good business person, all right? Because if you don't understand business, I don't care what business you'll get into, you'll never be a good business owner. Box truck business, the word business is attached to box truck business. You have to understand business. All right. And a lot of people don't understand business. And then this is why they fail. All right. So, people come into this box truck business and they automatically associate, okay, I got the truck, whether it's a rental truck or, they finance the truck, and then they automatically start balling out. Your situation and the next person's situation that you see online is not the same situation. I tell people this all the time, especially at the inception of their business. All right. You have to be mindful of what your lifestyle, your current living situation is, right? There has to be some sacrifice somewhere. If you look at me and my situation, right, and you just look at the situation in itself, right, as maybe some of the things I do, maybe some of the moves I make, or why I'm in the position that I'm in at the current moment, there was sacrifices made. Now, you may be able to enter the same way I entered, but you may not be able to scale how I scaled because certain lifestyle choices that I made, certain sacrifices that I made, or where I was at when I actually entered into the industry, you may not be at that same place, right? So you can't really look at another person's situation online, whether they're, giving you a lifestyle or showing you a lifestyle, whether it's true or false, and think you can instantly emulate that by mimicking their blueprint, right? Everybody's situation is different.
All the time, but like a majority of the time that's the case. Even me, I know nurses right now who have been working for 20 plus years who are struggling to retire. The biggest issue of why nurses are broke, most nurses, is lifestyle inflation. A lot of these nurses, when you're in college, you're not making that much money.
Was that her? Let's see.
When you're in college.
Yeah, we're gonna bump it up a little bit. About an 8 shab. I give her 8 shab now. We see a little bit more. She about 8 shab.
You're not making that much money. Like none of us were making any money in college. You're struggling. So you finally get that job, and immediately most jobs are paying pretty good rates, really, in the city or wherever you live. So you just overspend. You kind of overcompensate for not having when you were in college. So
shout out to Richard Hart. Listen, the day Richard Hart did this, he set the internet on fire. Richard Hart on the run now, man. I think the SEC after him.
Compensate for not having when you were in college. So now it's like, oh, I got it. So I can fly here and go there. And a lot of you will graduate with your friends. So they say, let's do this. And you're like, let's do this. You know, you go along with it. And you start to buy a whole lot of things that you don't really need because you didn't need those things before. So why do you need them now?
Another key thing, starting a business. All right. And I know a lot of people, you know, they struggle with this probably because they don't know any better. You're going to have to disassociate yourself and detach yourself from a lot of the people that you may have been around prior to you starting your business. You may have to disassociate yourself and detach yourself to a lot of the people that you hung around prior to starting your business, because their journey and your journey are starting to go in two different directions, right? For instance, I got a homie right now, about 3 years older than me. You look at his Instagram story, every single night he's out somewhere, every single night. Still, and not to throw a shot at him, but my mindset and his mindset is too different. It's to the point now, certain individuals don't even call me to kick it no more because they already know what the answer is going to be. Man, you in the house, you ain't doing, man, just come out, you know what I'm saying? For what? Listen, I done kicked it through my 20s. I even kicked it some of my 30s. I'm in my 40s now. Listen, them chicks out there, them the same chicks. We in our mid 40s now. I don't want to see these early 40, mid 40, late 30 chicks. I've been seeing them for 20 years. They still doing the same thing. You still doing the same thing. I could be in the crib reading a book, studying the market, looking to see, when this cycle is going in, checking my cash flow so I can, when the next economic collapse comes, I'm making sure that I got as much cash on hand as possible, because when there's blood in the streets, that's when we eat. When there's blood in the streets, that's when there's opportunity. Listen, I don't got time to be out here on Black Boat Scene weekend and the house picnic last week, and I didn't go to none of that shit. Because mentally, I'm somewhere else. So when you start a business, when I started my business, a lot of people that I kicked it with, I didn't kick it with no more. One, I was too busy, so I didn't really have the time. And two, mentally, I was somewhere else. If you are starting a business and you're running your business and you find yourself still hanging out with people who are making lifestyle choices that don't benefit you, and one of the main reasons that they're not benefiting you is because it's costing you money to do these certain things, and that could be money that could be reinvested back into the business, this is one of the reasons why you're struggling. This is one of the reasons why you're struggling. Like, when I hear people say, oh, well, it's tough. No, it's not. It's tough to people who make it tough for themselves. It's tough for people that make it tough for themselves because of the decisions and the lifestyle choices that they make. Yeah, things are going to always in the economy get worse. Listen, I'm 44. I say it all the time. Somebody asked yesterday in the Discord, when do you think things are going to go back to the old days? Never. I've never seen in 44 years things go back to the way they were. I always give the whole gas example. I've seen gas. I remember when gas was less than $1. Some of you probably ain't even old enough to even remember that. I remember when gas was less than $1. I ain't never seen gas go back under $1. I've only seen it go up. I've seen it come down a little bit, go up, come down, settle, come down. But it's never went back down to under $1. I've only seen things get worse. Listen, people can't even afford houses right now. People, married couples, husband and wife, in today's times, husband and wife, making over 6 figures combined, making over a little over 200,000 combined, can't afford to buy a house, can't get approved to buy a house, just because of the way things are right now. I've never seen things get better. I've only seen things, I wouldn't even say get worse. Things just change, and you have to be prepared for the changes. If you live long enough, you will understand that, and you prepare yourself. Same thing in business. A lot of decisions that I made early on in business is because I had made mistakes prior to starting a business, and that was God preparing me for what was to come. And I remembered those life lessons so that when I got into business, right, and one of the main things that really, made me buckle down and not make bad decisions is because I was responsible now for other people. I didn't want to be the business owner that was making money hand over fist. I've showed you my books from the early days. I've showed you my taxes from when I was licensed, right? So now I'm making this type of money hand over fist, and I'm running to the casino gambling it. Now it's payday and I can't make payroll. I've known business owners that take their money to the boat, to the casino, and can't make payroll. I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be the guy that went out and purchased things that would ultimately, cut into my profit, and I'm paying these things off because I'm this business owner, guy. So when I pull up, I got to look the part, be the part, because I'm marked with the trucking company right there in the hood that everybody know, with all the trucks in the warehouse. So now it's a certain way that I got to pull up. It's a certain way that I have to present myself, right? At the beginning, I didn't do that because I didn't want to be the guy who was known who couldn't pay his employees. When Rob came up, what did he say? One thing that stood out to a lot of people, man, Mark was an asshole, never had no problems getting paid. He even said, I hear Mark talk about claims, but to Mark's credit, he paid for a lot of those claims. How do you think I did? Because I had cash flow. I always made sure I was prepared for that rainy day. Why? Because life situations prior to me coming into business, I fucked up a lot of money. In my 20s, I had come-ups. I had stints of come-ups, right? And guess what? When I had those stints of come-ups, I fucked the money up. For instance, the notorious avalanche, where it all started. That avalanche, right? To be honest with you, that was a mistake. I couldn't afford that avalanche in 2002. When I bought it, I couldn't. I could not afford that. The note was $600 and something a month. I couldn't afford that back then. Listen, my 2-week paycheck was about $700-800, right? I understand now why, God put me in a situation to get it mentally, the struggle to continue to pay that note, because he had a plan for me 8 years down the line where that particular vehicle was going to put me in the position where I'm sitting in now, right? But that was a mistake. I shouldn't have bought that. I was 22 years old. I was making decent money for a 22-year-old, right? About $800 every 2 weeks. It doesn't sound like a lot today, but back then for a 22-year-old, $800 every 2 weeks was a lot of money. I was making about $12, $13 an hour, which was, to work in retail back then as a college student, was exceptional because everybody else was making $6 and $7. So, but I couldn't afford that car, that truck. But that was a mistake, right? It was a great mistake because it was a learning lesson. Now, when I'm in this position where I'm running a business, where I'm responsible for other people, I remembered that because I remembered those struggles to pay that note. Now that I got a lot more money that I can go buy something way more extravagant, I'm not going to do it. I already lived through situations and had examples that, okay, now I'm making more money. I'm not going to increase my lifestyle. I had to learn that on my own. I didn't have a mark in 2010 to say, listen, you making money now. Don't go out and do things that's not best for you or best for the business. I was smart enough to know that because of the situations that I had encountered prior to starting a business. If I wouldn't have encountered those situations, or let's say I still encountered them, but I wasn't mindful of what I went through prior to starting a business, I probably would have made the same mistakes. When you start a business, it's important that you don't increase your lifestyle. You need to build up a nest egg and prepare for war and prepare for what's to come, because it's not a matter of if, it's when. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Something's going to happen, especially you a truck person, over the road, local, whatever. Something's going to happen. I'm not being negative. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm telling you from a person who had a long tenure. I've told you about some things. I ain't told you about everything. A lot of shit didn't happen. Yeah, I told you about lawsuit. Yeah, I told you about a $55,000 claim, smaller claims, things like that. The roof. Other things happen. But guess what? I've also told you I only filed one claim. Everything else I had to pay for out of pocket. Why? Because the company had cash flow, and it benefited me to pay these things out of pocket because I was going to save in the long run on the insurance. Because anybody that knows that runs a business, especially in this industry, the last thing you want to do is file a claim.
It's like buying the $60,000 BMW that like everybody else has because you think every other nurse is driving this kind of car.
The infamous car.
So why don't I get this kind of car? But you actually don't need it.
Now, we've had one situation of someone admitting it on the channel. Someone that I focused a lot of time coaching on the channel last year. We can speak about it publicly. Big Zoe. He went out and bought a Lexus. Came back on the show and regretted it because the note. New business, one vehicle, still trying to navigate his way through the industry. Went out and bought a car. Needed a car, but probably didn't buy the most economical car for his situation. He followed my blueprint. He's making a lot of money in a cargo van. His income increased, so now his lifestyle is increasing. You make more money, you spend more money. That's where people fail, especially at the beginning. When I did the montage and I really started making money, it took 2 years for me to realize, you know what, I need to go buy another car. I didn't go buy nothing extravagant. I went and bought something that was hot on the streets at that time. I went and found what the hottest thing on the streets at that time was, but was the cheapest. And it was between a Challenger and the Camaros that just came out. The Camaros were hot. I went and bought a Camaro for $25,000. I didn't even get an SS. I got an RS. It had the leather. It didn't have the vroom vroom. It had a V8 engine, but it looked good. It was the V6. Yeah, the guys with the SSs used to pull up on me at the light and, you know, want to race. And they knew I didn't have the V8. They knew I had the V6 because the RS was on the back. And they had rammed the engines, look over at me. I used to feel bad. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lie. I felt bad. But it was a good decision for me at the time. Yeah, I could have got the V8. I could afford it easily. Y'all seen the type of money that I was making. I showed y'all. But I was comfortable with paying a $425 note. I didn't want to pay a $700 note because I was still building. I wasn't even licensed yet. I was fine. That $400, that was one move. And I still look good on the street. I could have easily went out and bought something way more expensive. I could have easily paid over $1,000. But I didn't because the money that I was saving was getting reinvested back into the business. Every little thing count. Everywhere I saved enabled me to reinvest. So not paying the expensive car note, still living at home. Now, this situation may not work for everybody. Some people come into their entrepreneurship already, you know, having an established family. They may be married, they may be engaged, they may have a significant other, you guys may have children, you may have a child, you're living together, so you have more responsibilities. I get that. That wasn't my situation. Nor did I force myself or allow anyone to force me into coming out of the confines of living at home, right? Because that would have taken more money away from me that I could have been reinvesting back into the business. Now, that's my situation. That's not everybody's situation, but I would advise anybody that's a new entrepreneur, especially a younger entrepreneur that's still at home, to stay at home. Don't let nobody coerce you into stepping outside the confines of home. If you're in a situation where you can do that and you can build your business and save that money that you would be paying living expenses to reinvest back into the business, I'm telling you, that average 1-bedroom right now, depending on where you live at in this country, $2,000 a month. Now times that times 12. You know what that is? That's another truck. You know what that is? If you are running one truck and you're working very, very hard, that 2,000 is in cash flow. So that's 24,000 in cash flow. Or that's 25,000. That's, you have a portfolio for your business. Yes, your business can have a portfolio that you have in the brokerage because you, like me, you don't believe in savings account because that's just money just sitting there. I'd rather have my money working for me. That $2,000 right there is working for you 24 hours a day, depending on how and where you invest it. Right? But, you know, the ignorant person coming into business, they not looking at that. They going out doing what's not in the best interest of them and their business. I already told the story about the person who I was dating, the ultimatum she gave me. You got more than enough money, man. You can't, no, I'm giving you 6 months. My black ass still stayed at the crib and the relationship was over because I had a plan and I wasn't going to let anybody deter me from my plan. The ultimate goal, I got to my ultimate goal because I didn't let anybody or nothing deter me from what my plan was. If I had to sever relationships, then so be it. The relationships that I severed because mentally I was going up and to the right, those relationships now that I can look in hindsight, look back, that I severed because no longer did I align with thoughts of what were my peers at that particular time, I made the right decision because majority of those people still got the same mentality that they had in their early 30s. Still robbing Peter to pay Paul, still jumping from job to job, don't own nothing, bunch of kids. You know what I do when I see them? Chuck it. I give them 4 or 5 minutes. Man, how your mama doing? She all right? Man, how your brother and them doing? They good? Man, y'all still over there off of 93rd? Y'all still back there on 93rd? Okay, all right. Yeah, I ran into man, you going to the picnic, the all class picnic? Yeah, I'm probably gonna pull up knowing good and goddamn well I'm not. I ain't coming in that shit. I tell people what they want to hear and I keep it moving. I cut the conversation short. Man, we ain't on the same level. I don't want to stand up at a park and drink Coronas and Modelo's and talk about the way things was and used to be 20, 30 years ago. I ain't got time for that. Look what happened at one of, for the people in Chicago, look what happened at the Simeon picnic 2 days ago. 5 people got shot. Why I want to go out there? This is what I'm saying. People doing the same shit. All-class picnic, Simeon High School, 2 days ago here in Chicago. People was 40 and 50 years old. 5 people got shot. Why I want to go out there for? I'm gonna sit my black ass in the crib. And people can, man, he always in the crib. You goddamn right. Because I can afford to sit my ass here because of the decisions. We not on the mental, and when I say the same level, it has nothing to do with financial, it's mental. Everything is mental.
You just need something that works and that's sturdy, or getting the high-rise apartment downtown immediately with all.
Let's talk about this. We talked about we going through the lifestyle choices. We correlating why nurses are broke, and I've dated some nurses. And I got an idea why a lot of nurses don't have it like that. A lot of the student loans, and I think, you know, just what nurses have to deal with coming in, depending on what unit they work on, whether it's the trauma unit. Like, and I hate to keep using the market I'm in, but I got to. I'm here, right? All right, I'm here. I've dated nurses that worked at the University of Chicago, right? My ex, all right? They see trauma, gunshots, children's coma. You got kids that are coming in, they parents done, I don't even want to talk about it. So a lot of the stuff they see, they need an outlet. Whether it's going out, the trips. I know why these nurses take a lot of trips. And it's not always due to just, you know, mismanagement and misappropriation and not doing what's best for them. A lot of them just need an outlet, especially in this market. It's a lot of trauma and things that they see, and I get it. But let's go here. And I kind of just touched on this a little bit. I understand that people need to live, right? But just because you a business owner off rip don't mean, like she's saying right here, you go get the crib downtown. You can't afford that yet. Especially if you talking about you want to scale, how you want to scale your business. And as soon as you touch the little bread, and only reason you feel like you touching bread is because something really ain't happened to you yet or happened to your business yet, which is going to result in you having cash flow that you really don't have because you don't understand that. Like I display so many times on the call-in show, people think that after they pay their expenses, what's left over is theirs. And then I'm like, what about cash flow? And they like, what's that? They paying themselves more money than the business. They're richer than the business. How are you richer than your business? Does Tim Cook have more than Apple? Does Jeff Bezos, does Jeff Bezos have a bigger market cap as an individual than Amazon? Does Elon Musk have more money than Tesla? So how is it that you are robbing from the sustainability of business by draining the business of all its capital? You know, when you drain it, you're not going to do what's in the best interest. You're going to take that money, you're going to spend it. What's the word that everybody always like to use? But Mark, you know I got to take care of home. And what do I always say? The business don't care about your home. Well, man, you know I got my rent and my cost per mile. Why? What your rent got to do with your cost per mile? How is your rent costing you per mile? How is your mortgage costing you per mile? You make a little money and then you want to go live downtown. Man, you can't afford to live downtown. You can't afford the floor to ceilings listen, look at me. You can't afford the floor to ceiling windows at the beginning. The view, you can't afford that at the beginning. You know how much it costs? I could tell you. That money could be reappropriated back into the business. It'll come. Would you rather scale or would you rather have the views? Would you rather have the views with your one truck draining from the sustainability of your business because you want the views? Why? So that when you go out to the club, and I always use this now, you know how you like to go. You went and you win it. You know you win and you got them Dior's. So now you standing on the couch. You popping the bottles. They DJ shout you out. I see you over there, buddy, in the section. Just got the 3 bottles of 1942. You done had the bottle service girl when they coming through the club with the sign up in the air. You made them pull your LLC up there, getting it out the mud truck and LLC. So now everybody say getting out the mud truck and LLC. They coming with the bottles and they got the sparklers getting out the mud LLC. You got all your homies there. You tell them, man, you ain't got to pay for nothing. Whole time we look at your business checking account, there's nothing in it. But everybody in the club think getting out the mud trucking LLC is he's that guy. You looking for now the brawls is looking at you. Oh, they looking over in the section. They coming to all the bad brawls. Trust me, I know I've been there before. Check it out. Now all the bad brawls are making their way to your section. They standing in the front because they know they cold. They know eventually you're gonna be like, come on here and drink with me. They gonna come stand right in front of your section and act like they lost. They gonna make sure they booties. They gonna pull it. They gonna make sure that everything is hourglass. And then your homies, because they, they living off you. These are the homies that I'm talking about you should have cut off. They ain't got a pot to piss in or window to throw it out of. They finna go sleep on Keisha's couch. After y'all leave the club, they are going to Keisha's couch. Or they going back to mama's basement. So now they come over here, they getting the stun off you robbing from the sustainability of your business. But the whole reason you wanted to do that is because you done went and got the fresh 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 650 square foot apartment downtown on the 20th floor with the view. 650 square feet, because that's really all you could afford, and that's about $2,200 a month if you live here. But you want to pull one of these chicks so you can pull it back there because you want to show as soon as you open that door, them floor to ceiling, she see that view, you already know what's finna happen. They coming down. They coming down. You know it. You want to show it out because you want to stun it. You listen, you've been itching. You ain't even got no furniture in there because you couldn't afford it. You couldn't afford it. You got a 85-inch TV sitting on the floor. You got some folding chairs and your mattress and your box spring is sitting on the floor. You ain't even got no bed frame. She's still gonna drop them for you because the view is immaculate. The view is immaculate. So you right into the section. You let her drink. She already see it's 1942. It's the illusion. Oh, she already know. Oh, that's about $1,300 a bottle. Now you macking her down. What you doing after this? You want to go get some breakfast? She hop in with you. You go out front. You done paid the valet $100. Leave me up front. Leave me up front. Now she don't know. I know the trick. That's a 2014 Panamera. That ain't the new boy. But she don't know that though. She don't know that. She just think it's a Porsche. That's a 2014, 2015. You got it on the low though. It look good. But she don't know that. So, because that's all you could afford. But she don't know. Hold on. You take her to the White Palace. Shout out to everybody from the crib. They know what I'm talking about. Or you take her to the truck stop, Steak and Eggers. You put a wing in her gut. She get the steak and eggs. She drunk off the 1942. You drunk. You pull into the building. And she busted open for a real one. But all that you did is why your business is broke. Is you worrying about the wrong thing. You paying for an apartment that you can't afford. That car is a piece of shit. This is only a matter of time before that shit finna break down. Listen, you go out and you buy these. I see it happen so many times. These new business they go buy these. I know one. He went out and bought a 10-year-old S550. Listen. That thing is dragging the ground because it got that air suspension. That's one of the first things to go. He took it to Mercedes. They charged him $5,000. and the shit still ain't right. Hey, Kev, I'm sorry, man. I got to use you as a case study in my live streams if you watch it. Listen, I'm sorry. Kev, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to call you after the live. Be cool. Yeah, because the chick don't know it's a 2012 S550. They just see S550. He couldn't get the new boy because his business wasn't there yet. He couldn't afford it neither. It's only going to look good for so long and it's going to break down. Stop going out getting these luxury cars that's 10 years old for the look. Listen, I'm going to tell you from a guy who drives luxury cars. If you are financing a luxury used car, you a goddamn fool anyway. We already know. Smart business don't know. We lease them. It's 3 years and done. It's a write-off. Stop listening to these rappers. Stop listening to these rappers. We don't lease, we buy. You a goddamn fool. You a goddamn fool. Business owners absolutely, positively, 100% lease, including your favorite rappers that's telling you go out and do all that dumb shit. We don't lease, we buy. You can't afford to buy 150. So you got to go get the 10-year-old S550 or 750 or old-ass Panamera. Man, the maintenance on them things will kill you alone. You a fool. We absolutely, positively, 3 years and done. It's here today, and 3 years from now it's gone. It's a write-off. Listen, 85% of the people who drive luxury vehicles lease. You a goddamn fool if you go buy a S550, a Bentley, a Rolls Royce. You are a goddamn fool. You are a fool. Because guess what? As soon as the warranty is up and you purchase the extended warranty for another $5,000, after that year, I'm going to tell you what the first thing that's going to go. The turbo. Especially if you get a Beamer. Turbo out of there, pimp. Then what you going to do? Look the part, be the part. Now you got a luxury car that you bought used to stunt that's parked because you can't even afford to get it fixed. Business still fucked up and broke because you've been robbing from the sustainability of that to look a certain way in your personal. Then guess what? After the 1 year lease of the 650 square foot apartment downtown with the floor to ceiling windows, you realize you couldn't afford it. Yeah, you done got it. Listen, you had your fun. You done busted a bunch of them down. But guess what? How that look as a business owner to, 650 square feet ain't whatever. But to go from that back to the crib. Damn, you back at the crib? What happened to the get it out the mud trucking LLC every other weekend? At the club, the bottle girls was holding up the sign, getting out the mud trucking LLC with the sign coming through. What happened? Thought y'all was getting it out the mud. Couldn't afford it. You couldn't afford none of that shit. You couldn't afford the old ass car. You couldn't afford the $2,200 a month. Plus the $200 because you had to get the parking. You had to rent the parking space too. So that was another $200, $250 a month. So you paying about $2,500 plus the utilities. All right. You rob from the sustainability of your business so that you can kick it, party, and look the part. You working your ass off. I give you that. You working your ass off. But you ain't got shit to really show for it at all. That shit that you thinking is something, that shit ain't shit. Your business is broke. Now, the inevitable happens. You run into an issue. Well, where the money at? Man, I need to borrow, $4,000-$5,000. For what? Man, truck broke down. They saying it's gonna be about $4,000-$5,000. You come to where the money at? Man, you know how it is. Man, it's messed up out here, man. The raids and the rates. I thought you was getting it out the mud. Remember I came to your birthday party and you said, man, it's on you. Man, you was taking the trick, the chick you just met 2 weeks ago, you took her to Cancun. Where all the money at? Man, you know how it is. I don't know how it is. Because things look fine to me. I don't see what you talking about out here in these streets. Why your business ain't got no money? Man, I I gotta live. I gotta take care of home. I gotta take care of home. Or taking care of home and standing on couches in the Louis sneakers or the Dior sneakers. Is taking care of home the purge, the bottle purge, bottle wars. You want a bottle war with the guy in the section next to you? The purge is taking care of home, living outside of your means and what you really can afford. You told me a year ago you started a box shop business. You want to scale. You said, Mark, I look up to you. I want to do what you did. What you doing? The absolute opposite of what I did. There is no reason on God's green earth you should not be sacrificing, especially at the beginning. I don't get it. But we see it happen in the work environment as well as the business environment.
Getting your nails $100 every single 2 weeks, or these Instagram girls are charging like $6.
And check it out. Some of y'all, the guys, I'm gonna kick it with the fellas real quick. Some of y'all probably don't even need to be in a relationship when y'all starting y'all business. I'm gonna kick it with you. In 2014, the lady that I was dating at that time gave me that ultimatum. When that time period came around, she did what she said she was gonna do. That's when I really took off. I was running already, but when she did that shit, I was gone. I was out of here. That's all I needed. I just didn't know it at the time. God set that up perfectly. Some of y'all don't need like a significant other like nagging you and bothering you, and you need to really focus. Now, if you already come into a business with that already in place, okay, then that's one thing. I'm not talking to you. But some of y'all that's out there that's looking to you just gotta, man, listen, focus on your business, because what's going to happen is the trick off. You're going to start tricking off. You need to focus on your grizzly. You need to focus on your grind. You need to be frustrated. You need to be frustrated. I keep telling you, this shit is competitive out here. It's somebody out there that's doing the same thing you doing, the same exact way, but it's one thing that's different. Up here is different. They really own it like that. They not letting nothing get distracted. They on their grizzly. They want to take all your food. They trying to get it all. They want it all. They not letting nothing get in the way. Nothing or nobody. Some of y'all don't need to even be involved because it's a distraction. And I'm just keeping it a buck. If the shoe don't fit, don't put it on. But I'm keeping it a buck. Listen, I was already going in down the right path, but when she gave me that ultimatum and she dumped my goofy ass, man, I was gone. That's all I needed, because I put my head down further, and I didn't have to focus on her. I didn't have to make sure I allotted a specific amount of time for her a day, at the end of my day, when I could have been resting or researching on how to, and tap into different, accounts and things like that, acquire a newer demographic for my customer base on my moving side. All I had to focus on was work. I had no distractions now. None. I hear it all the time. Listen, the call-in show, it tells the tale. And then you dating, you know what I'm saying? And that shit costs. Listen, it costs to date. If you're not with someone who really understands what you're trying to accomplish, it's not going to benefit you. The sacrifices that you need to make, and notice I keep saying, especially at the beginning, if they don't understand that, it's not going to benefit you. It's not. Listen, I'm keeping it a buck with you. It's very hard to find people as an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur who has to start from humble beginnings, who's not, afforded, a jump start or a handout, or let's say generational wealth is kickstarting their business, right? People like me and you who have to start from humble beginnings and grind and work their way up. Listen, we can't have any distractions. It's very hard to find like-minded individuals that are in our situation, especially at the beginning, right? That we can confide in and talk to and share ideas with. If a person ain't understand, well, man, you know what? I'm hungry. And you trying to build, you working, I'm hungry. Man, come on, man. I'm working. Well, how long you gonna be working for? Because I'm hungry. What? Hey, come on, man. Clear my line. Clear my line. This is why I think a lot of people that are new should focus on their business. I'm only talking to the people who the situation fits.
$100 for like a sew-in or braids or like extensions or blonde girls. I didn't know how expensive it was to be blonde. Respect to you. That is crazy. I'm talking too fast. But you're doing all these extravagant things and your lifestyle is just becoming so more and more expensive. Do you ever hear those people who talk all the time and they're like, oh, I make 600K, or I did everything I was supposed to do. Why am I still struggling to make ends meet? One, that's the American economy's fault. But a little bit of it is also that your lifestyle is a lot more than your job is able to afford.
Don't I always say that? Don't I always say that? You make more money, you spend more money. You create a lifestyle that you can't afford because the money that's coming in, you kicking it right back out.
Saving for the future and not saving in
nothing. This is something I talk about. I hint at it all the time, but I really haven't expounded on it because I can't get past operational costs. I have to continue to drive operational costs into people's head to the point where some people just get upset, right? But here's the thing. We can't talk about saving when you don't have the money to save. You can't even afford some people can't even afford to put diesel in their truck. So how can we talk about save? Because we got to correct the issue first. We have to correct the issue. It starts up here. Sacrifice. Delayed gratification. Some of y'all, stop looking at social media. If you ain't consuming information that's best for you, stop looking at all the dumb shit. Because that's really messy. Some people ain't got strong minds. They looking at this goofball shit and it's killing you because you don't know no better. Stop this shit that y'all see online and these 5 steps to $100,000 that's not true. That's what's also messing you up. Like,
case of emergencies. As life happens, things happen. If you're not
life happens.
able to pay your rent or pay your car, if you were to quit your job today, your life is too expensive and you don't have enough savings. The more expensive your life is, like she said in the video, the more bound you are to that job. You are like trapped to that job because you have to continuously keep up with yourself because you keep raising the things that you need to be able to afford. And God forbid you get into a car accident next week where you're not able to work. Or if you get hurt one day, you're going to be able to afford to stay home. There's things that like people don't think about, especially younger nurses, because young people, we just think we're indestructible, nothing can hurt us, we can go spend all the money, it'll come right back. And yes, the money will come back, but overspending is going to put you in a situation, where you just broke my nail. See that? If you were to quit today and you miss a few checks, or missing one check affects your rent or your car payment or the way that you live your life, you're not saving up enough and you're not able to afford the life that you're living right now because you're not ready for an emergency, because life happens and things happen and you have to be able to adapt to those issues. Another thing is a lot of nurses, unless you went to a community college, which is considerably cheaper, or your parents helps you pay your way through. Time I go outside, it's like you just sneeze $100. You go out to eat with one friend and they coming back bringing the bill, it's like $80, $90. Everybody should be leaving the house all the time. I feel like being at home is to sleep and get cute and then leave. You have to go get life, go experience things, but there's cheaper ways to go out and experience.
Some of y'all need to stay in the house. See, a lot of people want to go out and kick it because they need that content for their social media. They want to go out, they want to get the expensive dinner, and that's fine, so that they could take a picture of the dinner and the receipt, and then they can post it. But guess what? That's costing you, and you can't afford it no way. Some of y'all, when I say sacrifice, I mean sacrifice, God damn it. Get in your truck, take your ass to work, and take your ass home. Go to Walmart. Get you some groceries. Cook. Stop ordering DoorDash and Uber Eats and all this shit. Do I really got to go through a list of sacrifices for people so that they can fully understand what I'm talking about? It's not as messed up as people think. It's messed up. But not like people think. I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. When you start a business, especially at the beginning, is when you need to make your most sacrifices. Is when you need to delay your most gratification at the very beginning. You don't have to do it throughout, but at the very beginning. You can't go out and do things that are not in the best interest of yourself, not in the best interest of the business, right? You can't afford it. Business owner doesn't equal financial success. I know it's perpetuated on Instagram and some other social media platforms, but that's not the case. It takes years of grind. Years. One truck. Here's another misconception, and I'm going to get out of here. One truck ain't going to get you there, big dog or big girl. It ain't going to get you there. One truck ran successfully with delayed gratification and sacrifices can pay you something for a modest life, depending on market. This shit that somebody sent me the other day with this whole one truck, 5-step, 6-figure is bullshit. Listen, you may gross, your business may grow 6 figures, but here's the thing, here's the misconception. You are not your business. You're not going to make $100,000+ a year personally because of operational cost. So if you ultimately want to see 6 figures as an individual, you must scale. And in order to do that, you are going to have to sacrifice. If your box truck business makes $150,000 and you are doing things the correct way, you're not going to take home personally as the owner operator 6 figures. You're not. I'm sorry. I know they told you that. I know the dude on Instagram said, let me show you how to start a 6-figure box truck business with these 5 steps. And then he was pointing, and each time he did that, the step came down. And then he did that, the other step came down. That's a lie. Now, I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. How is it that I'm, for over a year, about a year now, been asking somebody to prove me wrong and nobody has stepped up? Remember I showed my taxes? Remember I showed my expenses as well? For me to pay myself $200,000, listen, it cost me $800,000. It was 6 figures in fuel, over 6 figures in payroll. The trucks we were renting were almost 6 figures. Insurance is up there. Office expenses, maintenance, accounting fees, taxes. Like, a lot of people ain't even paying people the right way. Remember, we got people coming up saying, man, how you pay your employees? Cash App, Zelle. Y'all ain't even paying taxes. Y'all ain't paying quarterlies. Y'all ain't paying unemployment taxes, Medicaid, Social Security. You're not really even running a real business. Remember, I showed you this shit. I showed you what quarterlies look like. Quarterlies? What's that? What's unemployment insurance? Wait, you don't know unemployment insurance? Well, how you paying your guys? Oh, well, I just cash up them every week. Well, God damn it, no wonder. So a lot of people that think they running a business and call themselves struggling, if you ran your business the correct way, you would probably be done. But you got a brand new car. How is that? That shit don't even make sense. Your business is broke because of the decisions you make. Your business is broke because of the sacrifices that you're not making. Your business is broke is because you're not running the business correct. You don't understand it. Your business shouldn't be broke. You should be broke. At the beginning, you're making all the sacrifices personally to build the business. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Because I'm finna get out of here. I'm finna go make me some breakfast. You look like a gazillion bucks and you ain't got a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of personally. And the business is broke as well. The business should have it. You personally should be broke because you should be making the sacrifices for the betterment of the business. It went over your head. I'm going to say it one more time. You personally should be fucked up. We're going to use that word. The sacrifices should be made on a personal level for the betterment of the business. You're telling me you taking care of home. This is why you're in the situation that you're in. Well, Mark, how am I supposed to live? You're going to have to figure that out. I just told you. I don't know. Everybody's situation is going to be different. I'm not finna listen to everybody's situation and be their life coach. I'm not no life coach. There's plenty of life coaches on the internet. They're going to charge you $3,000, $4,000 to tell you what you're doing wrong in your life. Everybody's situation is going to be different. But I'm telling you this from a business perspective, right? Because there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, especially at the beginning. There's no reason you should be working as hard as you are and you got a broke business. But you personally look like you got a successful business. That's the problem. You should be broke. The business should be sustaining. The business shouldn't take care of home. The business should not be taking care of your personal living. Now, somebody's confused right now. The business should be paying you for the job that you do. It's your responsibility to take care of your personal living. So guess what? If you have a lifestyle, I'm going to say this again. If you got a lifestyle that you can't afford and it's causing you to rob from the sustainability of the business, you got two choices. See how people come in and they leave, they don't want to hear that. I love when people don't want to hear this shit, but people could come and hang around when I'm on bullshit and then want to come and DM me. Listen, I'm going to start showing people my DMs. The bullshit, these are the people that come in and leave. And then my DMs is flooded to the point I don't even look at that shit no more. They ask me these dumbass questions because they don't want to listen to the shit that's best for them. People don't want to hear this shit. I'm going to tell you why your shit fucked up. There's two reasons why your shit fucked up. And this is how you fix it. If you can't afford the way you living, you got two choices. Either you going to decrease your living, delay your gratification on the personal side, you're going to make more money. There's only two options you got. You either going to have to make more money or lower your lifestyle because the business is sustained. There's no reason you should look like, because you look like it, but you still broke. And then the business broke because you drained from the business to afford this shit that you ain't making no money off of. You ain't making no money. Once you go to the club and you stand on them couches, you want to piss that 1942 out. That car that you went, that 10-year-old, so that you could look, that 10-year-old car that you went and bought so you could look a certain way, that shit, the value in that car when you bought it was gone 10 years ago. The salesman like, man, we got us one. We got us another one. Yeah, man, I just sold that old ass Porsche, man. Turbo, bad as hell on that thing, man. Shit, it was as is. Old and new. We got us one. Hey, babe, come on. I just made a sale. We going to Roof Chris tonight. Yo, goofy ass. Hold on.
Yo, goof ass. Goofy as hell.
Ain't none of that shit making you no money. Either you gonna make sacrifices on your personal side or you gonna make more money. You can't figure out how to make more money. You complaining that they taking cheap rates with your goof ass. All right, well, if you making money, you don't know how to make more money, decrease your lifestyle. Them your two options, pimp. Them your two options, pimp. So I don't know what else. I didn't kicked it with you. This is why your business is broke. This is why you can't figure it out. I'm working really, really hard, but I just can't seem to. And then it always leads back. I proved this time and time again. It always gets down to, you know, I gotta take care of home. Y'all that's been following me, y'all see it. We have yet for the when we do a deep dive analysis of each individual, it always leads down one path. So keep doing what's not in your best interest. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Your few little assets that you got is gonna be guys like me. We're gonna come get them. Listen, when you need to sell the few little assets that you got, don't worry about it, pimp. Come holler at me. I got cash on hand for you. And I'm buying for the low too. I'm not gonna give you the fair market value because you desperate. I'm gonna take full advantage of your situation because I'm a capitalist. Listen, I need you to do what's not in your best interest. See, now this is when I get to talk my shit and people don't like it, but it's the fact. And the reason why I do that is because this is America and this is how America was built. I do it purposely and I know you're not gonna like it. Keep doing that. So the few little funky ass little assets that you got, let me know when you need to start tapping into them. I got cash on hand. And I'm not giving you fair market value. I'm going to give you what you need because you got to pay that high ass rent that you can't afford.